this is not for the faint of heart. It's a remarkable achievement that you have been a part of. Did you know when you started doing this that you were part of something special? Could you tell at that point in time, Jared?
Well, I knew the scripts were remarkable and something special, but there's so many things that have to happen, in terms of the whole team has to sort of hit the bullseye. And I'd say this is one of those sort of rare occasions where in every department, art direction, costume, the makeup, even it's not that often you've read sort of critical analysis of a show where even the sound design is being talked about as having a sort of an effective contribution to the whole piece. So yeah, once we were there and we were shooting, you can feel that it's going well. But after you finish working on something, you're basically kept in the dark and you have no idea how the post-production process is going. So, and you can't predict how the product or your show is going to be received. So, and a lot of that is to do with timing. So it seems to have arrived at the right moment.
Yeah, I mean, anytime I've watched something, see something, TV or movies that I'm so moved by, I'll read more about it. And the articles that I've read about Chernobyl is the attention to detail is blowing away people whose job it is to be expert in the field that you're portraying, down to the uniforms that are being worn, down to like the waste bins that are on the set. And I'm wondering how that helped you in getting into your character, into your role, into performing.
Yeah, all of that helps. That all helps. It's a one less thing that it doesn't pull you out, or you don't have to think about or worry about. And that was certainly true on, say, shows like Mad Men or The Terror, or this, or where they are the people who are in charge of creating that world. There's a premium being put on the fact that if you bring the more authentic the material is that you bring, the happier the director is, the happier the showrunner is. On Mad Men, if you opened a drawer on that set, everything was period. There wouldn't have been any sort of. You couldn't open a magazine and it would not be that month that that episode was taking place in. Yeah.
So you're used to being on a set like that. Was it same way for The Crown as well, pretty much?
Yeah, it was.
That's everywhere you go.
And this, of course, we shot in Lithuania was part of the Soviet Union, and there's big parts of the country that still have that sort of Soviet hangover to it in terms of the architecture, the buildings, and the people there certainly had lived through the Soviet era. So, and we had in the costume department, part of the crew that they had worked in Soviet factories, so they would tell you nothing was cut to fit. And the material was quite strong, sort of heavy canvas-like material, so it wouldn't hang on you well. And so they sort of because our thing is to try and make it look good, and they went, no, nobody looked good.
Right, exactly. Yeah. There's nothing glamorous about this sort of thing. The man who plays Valery Legasov, the Soviet nuclear physicist in Chernobyl, Jared Harris, here on the Rich Eisen Show. What did you learn about it? What did you come away with that you? Well,
I obviously learned a lot about nuclear physics.
Yeah, right.
And I could explain in layman terms how a nuclear reactor works. I could explain what went wrong on that night, which is, that's a pretty big thing to get your head around. So, but luckily Craig had got his head around it, and I just had to figure out what he wanted me to talk about.
Yeah, sure. And obviously this has been a worldwide reaction to this. The Russian government's not too much of a fan.
Odd that, isn't it? I mean, the Russian government has got nothing in common with the Soviet government. I mean, it would be like Angela Merkel getting upset about policies of the National Socialist Party during the 1930s Germany. I mean, they have no...
Right.
The Russian government's a democratic government, and this is I don't quite understand why they're upset.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? It's kind of strange. Yeah. There's apparently they're going to do their own version of Chernobyl. That's what I'm hearing about right now.
And an odd thing to do, because they're going to sit... I think I saw somewhere there was going to be something about the CIA agent blowing it up. But they don't look good in that version either because the guy blows it up.
That's true.
It's a failure.
So
how is that a better version of the story?
Jared, I don't think they've thought this thing through.
I don't think they've thought it through.
I don't think they really have thought it completely through.
I suspect they'll probably hire someone in Hollywood to write the story.
or the people that are showing up in Chernobyl and the area right now taking Instagram photographs of themselves.
That's weird. Apart from anything else, I saw some pictures of people on swings and things like that, and as far as I understand, the metal absorbs the radiation and holds it longer. So those are bad places to be sitting on or resting on or being near, because you're probably absorbing more radiation than if you were elsewhere in that plant. I would avoid all those areas.
One thing that I picked up from watching this show, Jared, is that it's a dangerous spot for many, many years to come.
Yes.
So if you're a fan and you're fanning out on the show, you would kind of pick up the fact that it would be dangerous to visit there.
Well, they do adventure tourism there. You're taken through and guided walks, and you have to sign something that you understand the risk you're taking. But obviously, maybe it was in Ukrainian that they didn't understand what they were signing. But
Jared Harris.
Well, they
here.
didn't read.
That's right, on the Rich Eisen Show.
For more of the Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live, or download the Rich Eisen Show app.